It's closing day. I am at Chantrell Attorney's office in Manchester, Tennessee. We're closing on a house in Estill Springs, and then I am headed to Tullahoma right after this to go pick up some keys. I'm heading over to Lowe's so that I can grab a couple of things for this house before we go inside. Hang out with me today as a day in the life of a realtor in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I actually think I'm gonna get these. I think the funny thing about filters is that you have all of these really expensive options where they're like, you know, 20 bucks for one filter. And what I have learned over the years, partly because my husband already knew it, he had family members who were in the HVAC field, that the thicker the filter, the harder it is for the airflow to come through, and you can actually like ruin your system faster. So I opt for the less expensive filters just because we change them out super often. I think it works for us. Well, that was easy enough. Got into the store, got what I needed, and I think that they should be set for now. Lowe's is actually at the end of these strips. So Jackson Street, which is like our main drag, goes from Lowe's all the way down to, it's like a 7-Eleven. We call it the viaduct. And everything, almost everything that you could possibly need in Tullahoma is down this road. But Lowe's is the last main like shopping place that you get to before you start heading into Shelbyville. And I would say that our Lowe's is pretty fabulous. We've also got the airport over here. And one of my boys' favorite things about going to Lowe's would be getting to watch the airplanes land over the Lowe's. I mean, it feels like you could reach up and like touch the underbellies of those airplanes. I'm gonna go grab keys from the other title company office, and then we're heading to their new house. Super easy grabbing the keys. Typically you don't get keys until both parties have signed and funding happens, which is a whole other video. But with this one, the bank has a relationship with this title company, and then we both used the same title company. That makes things so super smooth. So buyer signed this morning, seller signed right here. They already have the money in the account and they're ready to transfer it over to the seller. So we have keys and we are ready to go. This is actually Chantrell's other office. So they've got one in Tullahoma and they've got one in Manchester. Super convenient. All right, let's go take a look at the house. This is obviously my cloffice and not my client's new home. I do respect their privacy and did not intend on actually recording at their house. However, I did hand the keys over. I think they are thrilled with their new house. Their little boy was running around the yard. He's super excited, I think, to have a yard. Going from an apartment to a yard, it's kind of a big deal for a little kid, especially something that's fenced in. You know, took the very short 3-minute trip through this video with me about what happened today. But if you are actually looking at moving to Tullahoma, your closing day could look a little something like this. First in the process, you're gonna close at a title company, just like you saw earlier. Both parties sign, and then there's a short window where everything is reviewed and then funding happens. Once the home is funded, that's when you get the keys and you have access to the home. If you're not in Tullahoma or in Tennessee, definitely talk with your agent if you're watching this to see exactly how key transfer happens in your local area. While you're waiting on the funding, it's a great time to go ahead and set up your utilities. In Tullahoma, it can be a little bit complicated. You have to have both parties signed on the ALTA, which is your closing statement, in order to be able to go in. Whoever you want on that utilities bill, you're gonna want in person because they can be just a little bit complicated. These folks are moving to Estill Springs, so it was really easy transfer. I'm pretty sure you can do Estill Springs utilities transfer over the phone. You might have to drive around for just a little bit while you wait on that funding to happen to get your keys, but this morning, like, we closed at 9, the seller closed at 10, and they were in their house by noon. Once you actually get the keys, there's a few things that I personally always suggest doing right away, no matter what kind of home you're buying. First, change your locks. Obvious reasons. You just don't know how many copies of those keys there are from previous owners, if they had any contractors, neighbors, friends. It's just a super quick fix, and it gives you peace of mind immediately that you know exactly who can enter your house. Second, I always recommend changing the toilet seats. It's simple, super inexpensive. It's just your toilet, your hind end from day one. Third, go ahead and change out your air filters. When I was at Lowe's earlier, I pointed out the reasons why you just don't know how long those existing air filters have been there, and it refreshes the system, gives your HVAC a break. I just feel really good about knowing, like, the day I moved in is the day that I changed them, and then I can count every 30 days from there. While we are talking about air, if you really want a clean reset, consider having your HVAC system and ductwork professionally cleaned. Over time, dust, pet hair, debris, it all builds up in that system, and getting it cleaned out at the very beginning means that you're not recirculating all of that dander and icky smell through your house. It is also a great time for you to change out things like the light bulbs, smoke detectors, just get familiar with how everything in your house works. Walk through the house, test your systems, and make a list of anything you want to update or keep an eye on. I am a huge proponent of changing out light bulbs, so much so that my kids will walk into a room or a place and they'll see different color light bulbs or light bulbs that are out and be like, that needs to be replaced, this needs to be changed. My borderline OCD, I don't really know, but it does make such a huge difference, especially depending on what kelvins you get. A lot of people prefer the more warm lights, so like a 2700 at 3000. I like them a little bit cooler just because I can see if things are clean or not. If I'm listing a house to sell, I want a 3000 or higher for kelvins. Not like hospital white, but light and bright enough that when you turn the light on, you're not going like, what is happening in here? Now for living, a lot of people prefer a more warm light bulb. So I got 3000s today to swap out and give them something to, I wish I had taken a picture of it because like there was a vanity light and it had like 3 different colors in it. And one of them, it was the LED and it was like strobe lighting, and I couldn't do it. So I got a pack of light bulbs and went through and changed out those light bulbs for them. Instant, super quick, super easy change that makes home feel a little bit more like yours. All in all, moving to Tullahoma isn't just about getting to that closing table. It's about knowing what to do next so that you can settle in and feel at home super quickly. If you're planning on moving to Tullahoma or anywhere in southern Middle Tennessee and you want help navigating the process from start to finish, I'm here for that. Give me a call.